Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. The long-awaited day was finally here with us. It was a red letter day to the followers of Rigathi Gachagua, to those who subscribe to the Wamunyoro political ideology. Rigathi Gachagua, the former deputy president, made good his promise and gave his followers a party they can resonate with, Democracy to the People Party of Kenya. And finally, I think those who have been in UDA but they were very tired, they didn't have a place to call home, they finally have a place to call home. Now, this party was launched in Lavington. It was full of glamour. Of course, there are several people who want to cast aspersion, but I think Rigathi Gachagua had an idea of exactly what he wanted. Now, I have noted with concern because there were some chaotic scenes when some youths ganged up and they wanted to interfere with the occasion. They waited until the launch was over and they were shouting outside, and police in plain clothes had to fire gunshots. But I've noted with concern that the government, including those who are in the broad-based part of it, have launched an onslaught against Rigathi Gachagua, meaning that they are pretending that Rigathi Gachagua is an entity, yet that party really shook them because it is the new thing in town. It is being talked about. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell. Anytime you subscribe to our channel, you support the channel. But you can support it further when you click the notification bell, because that will allow YouTube to notify you. Any video that comes in, you'll be the first to see it. You can also like and share videos. Liking and sharing videos are also part and parcel of supporting our channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look at how the government is trying with a lot of pain to try to discredit, or rather neutralize, what Rigathi Gachagua did, as if it does not hold any water. But first, I want us to try and look at the scores and the misses during the launch, because I know these are things that you've watched. Very many people have talked, have analyzed it. But in your own opinion, what were some of the very scores? How did Rigathi Gachagua score? And what were some of the misses? And one, I think I love the fact that the former deputy president did not launch the party in Wamunyoro as many people were expecting. It had been expected that he was going to do it in Wamunyoro. The reason being, Wamunyoro has been a home of visitors. And I think as he was planning for the launch of this party, very many delegations used to trickle into Wamunyoro to discuss and finalize the plans of this party. So some people thought that Wamunyoro was going to hold this event in his home. But I like the fact that he did it in Nairobi, just to make it central. Because if you look at the ODM or the UDA, they have their headquarters in Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city. Had he launched this party in Wamunyoro, the accusers would have continued with the accusation that this is a tribal party. Now you see the way he has done it in his home. So I think he scored by picking Lavington as the venue. That will be the headquarters. To me, that was a score. Number two, the choice of officials, to me, was a score, because you've seen that list. The party leader is Rigathi Gachagua. The deputy party leader is the vocal Cleopas Malala from Kakamega. David Mingati is the chairperson from Kajiado. Peter Mwadhi, deputy chairperson, strategy, that is from Kiambu. Margaret Sarah Wino, someone from Kisumu, deputy chairperson, operations. Hezron Obanga, secretary general. We have several of them. I'm looking at Metikali Turi, national organizing secretary. Maina Commander, chairperson of eminent person. So I think the choice and the selection of officials makes it, a Kenyan party, and it has the national outlook. It is no longer a Munyoro party as they wanted it to look like. So I think he scored on that. The message was also good. Rigathi promised even those who are not close to him, said even the closest allies who have been with him throughout all these difficult moments will not be guaranteed a direct ticket. That was a good one, if you ask me. What are some of the misses? Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that in all these parties, if you ask me, there is no place and room for the youths. You know, people thought that maybe Rigathi would have used that moment to make his party a little bit different from the others, from ODM, UDA, Amani National Congress is no longer there, Limezwa na UDA, I mean for the Kenya, Wiper. He should have created a space for the youths. Hata kama ni ile ya kutupumbaza kidogo. So I think that was a miss because he needed to have done something that is different from the others. Number two, some people have said that this was strategic to exclude the other core principles like Martha Karua, like Matiang'i has gone back to the US maybe to resign, Natembeya, Eugene. I thought they would have made this more colorful and more dramatic if you ask me. But it could also be a strategy to ensure that the attention focused on the launch on Rigathi Gachagua, because if you look at what happened, he's the only person who spoke. So I think to me, that was also a miss. I don't know what you think. But there was this moment when the youth tried to interfere with the process. At least they were done with it, and as they were dispersing, they targeted Rigathi Gachagua. With security, you never assume, because even the little unthinkable could be the worst threat in the life of a politician. Now, after that incident, very many leaders have condemned it. But I've listened to government bloggers that are saying that, you know, maybe Rigathi Gachagua State managed this. I don't think so, because this is not the first time when Rigathi Gachagua is being targeted. But what caught my attention is the CS in charge of security, Murkomen himself, instead of condemning the act of Goonism, the acts of goons being sent to interfere with such an event, he started blaming Rigathi Gachagua, because he's now saying that he was not aware that such an event was going to take place, and so they didn't give enough security, which is fair enough. But does it justify, if you are not informed, if the police is not informed, does it justify violence and acts of goons?
As a country, we subscribe to the principles of democracy. And in democracy, as a national security team, we believe that the stability of our country is based on having a working democracy that allows everybody to exercise their political rights free from interference. And our National Police Service are carrying out proper investigations to see what exactly happened when those political leaders were launching their own party. Unfortunately, as I have inquired from the National Police Service, there is no indication that the National Police Service were notified about this meeting so that they can provide proper security. Preliminary also investigation indicate that some of the supporters who were invited to come for this function were expecting to be paid some amount, and as a result of fighting over those resources, there was a melee which unfortunately led to some kind of a stampede. And unfortunately, we hear that some of the journalists who were there to cover the event were also caught in the melee, and some people in civilian clothes drew their guns, and then they fired on the air. So investigations will go on to establish who exactly they were, why they did what they did. But what is of significance to us is that we would like to ask all leaders, regardless of their political affiliations, to first of all seek the services of National Police Service when they're having public events, just to secure and protect the public. Number two is that even where they are paying their supporters, because it's allowed by law, they should be able to do it in an organized manner, in a manner that's not going to cause a stampede, and perhaps organize their supporters in a better manner, because we have seen in the past that when supporters are fighting over money and other resources, they cause a problem. Otherwise, everybody has their right to exercise their political rights. I did not know there was somebody who was launching a party today. It's until you asked me this question in relation to this situation. And when I inquired, I was told there were a group of people who were launching a party. Unfortunately, I wasn't aware. But the report that has come from National Police Service is that the fight was around the resources the supporters were expecting, and the absence of proper coverage by the police because there was no proper notification.
I agree that Rigathi Gachagua should have notified the security apparatus. But you see, Rigathi does not even trust them, because in many occasions he has accused them as being part of the problem and not part of the solution. And that is the reason why maybe he didn't bother to inform them. But then, ladies and gentlemen, is it proper that when you don't notify the police, then there is justification for some people, external forces, coming to attack you? That's why I have a problem with Murkomen's sentiments. I thought he would have started by condemning the act of attacking Rigathi Gachagua, or an attempt to interfere with this event, in the strongest terms possible. He didn't do that, and he was now blaming Gachagua for it. I know part of the blame can go to him because he should have informed the police. But who knows? Rigathi Gachagua had even claimed that there have been NIS personnel trying to pursue him, follow him. He's always given us an identity of a certain car following him. But that is not any justification that should now attack a leader just because he didn't notify the police. Now, I also want you to listen to Kithure Kindiki, because they have been charged. Now they have started telling us that, it is time to work for Kenyans. We are not going to listen to those who are launching their parties. And they're also saying that this party is a tribal party. How is it a tribal party? Because if you ask me, even ODM has its roots in Nyanza. If you look at UDA, it has its roots in Rift Valley. Talk of Ford Kenya, you can trace it to Western. Talk of Wiper, you can trace it. The roots are from Ukambani, Sekuru. Jubilee has its roots in Shaweri. So I don't know why they feel agitated when Rigathi says that this is your party. The truth is, we are playing tribal politics, and each and every region would want a party they can resonate with. That is a fact. Today, if we hold elections, there are very many people who are saying that Ruto is bad, but from Rift Valley, Ruto will still get 90% because that is their man. We have a culture of, if there is a thief and it's from your home, then this is our thief. If someone is bad and corrupt in the eyes of many Kenyans, you will always gang up to protect him. So there is nothing to be agitated about when Rigathi says this is their party. So they have started maligning and attacking Rigathi Gachagua.
Politics of violence, division, incitement are old-fashioned politics. We must resist those politics as a country. Na wale wanaunda vyama, there is no problem. Kila mtu aunde chama, ule anataka kuunda chama, there is no problem. Lakini wacha kusema hii ni chama ya kabila hii ama dini hii. Our democracy must mature. Sio kuchemsha wananchi, na hakuna mtu hajakuwa na nafasi ya kuwa kiongozi. Wale watu unasikia wanaongea huko, hakuna mtu hajakuwa na nafasi. Wengine wamekuwa mawaziri, wengine wamekuwa vitu vingine. So everybody will account.
Hiyo crashes ya 88 ilikuwa kunyoroshwa, tulikuwa tunanyoroshwa. 207 tukanyoroshana. 22 tukanyoroshana. Tukakubaliana never again will we allow ourselves to be divided kwa misingi ya kikabila. So hearing that there are political parties that are tribal political parties, it is very unfortunate.
Tusiitikie mtu atoke na huko kwenye anatoka akuje kutukoroga hapa. Wacha tuendelee kufanya kazi pamoja. Tulitafuta hii serikali, hatutatoka sasa tuingie msituni na serikali ni yetu.
There is now this pretense that, we are busy working for the people, we are not going to start campaigning. Who doesn't know? Who can be fooled now that this government started campaigning immediately they were sworn to office? William Ruto started campaigning in 2022 after being sworn in. When they were with Uhuru Kenyatta, immediately Uhuru Kenyatta was sworn in. William Ruto started running ahead of his time, and Uhuru Kenyatta complained that instead of my principal assistant waiting for me to pass the baton, he's already campaigning. So this pretense that, we are busy working, we want to fulfill the promises that we gave to Kenyans, and therefore, it doesn't hold any water, because that is what they are now saying. William Ruto is on top of cars and vehicles promising, So he's already campaigning. This pretense that, Rigathi is campaigning because he doesn't have anything to do is null and void. Kithure Kindiki is saying that some of these people had been given a chance and they must show for it. If you ask the people of Mount Kenya, they will tell you that Rigathi Gachagua used to speak for them. Kithure Kindiki is appointed, not elected, and that therefore he doesn't feel the urge kutetea watu wake. To him, he pledged loyalty to the president. That is the difference. So when he's asking that, some of those people had been given a chance, I know he was referring mainly to Rigathi Gachagua and the former agriculture minister, Linturi. They did. And if you ask the Mount Kenya, they will tell you that Rigathi Gachagua is still their deputy president. Because even just the other day, the courts nullified the process by which Rigathi's impeachment was upheld. So ladies and gentlemen, they cannot fool us anymore. I was even shocked that in Nyanza, I don't even understand what is happening. Wanga was saying that sikio la kufa halisikii dawa. They were attacking Rigathi Gachagua for nothing. And I'm wondering what exactly is happening.
Unajua nimesikia wengine wanasema atisikiza wa Kenya. President William Ruto and Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga wamesikiza wa Kenya, na ndio maana wa Kenya wanataka watu wafanye kazi pamoja, wa Kenya wanataka amani, na wa Kenya wanataka maendeleo. Na hiyo ndio kazi wanafanya. Wanasema Homa Bay tujui Kiswahili, lakini najua methali moja inasema sikio la kufa halisikii dawa. So hiyo pia lazima tuseme.
It only shows that event shook them, because it now means that Wamunyoro has started that journey. William Ruto never thought that this process that just started like a joke by impeaching Rigathi Gachagua could lead to Rigathi having his own party. Rigathi has always said that he trusted Ruto so much that he got into an agreement without a deal, without a party. Now he's saying he has learned from his mistakes. So it means that Rigathi Gachagua now has a vehicle. He can now negotiate. Anyone who is tired of UDA has a place. And in fact, let me tell you, this is the final blow to William Ruto in Mount Kenya. Rigathi has galvanized and he has locked out William Samuel Ruto. But I know tough times are looming ahead. Rigathi must be very careful, because I've listened to many people are saying that William Ruto could simply infiltrate through spies. He can send dark forces there who will be spying on Rigathi Gachagua just to understand what is happening. There's a lot of money that is being stolen to buy leaders, to bribe leaders, and even to bribe Kenyans. He must be very, very wary about that. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you think, but Rigathi shook them. That's what they are talking. If Rigathi was an entity, they would have been bothered to start attacking him. Everywhere they are now talking about him. I've just given you a sample of a few, but very many leaders are now, they have gone crazy about this party. So we want to wait and see how Rigathi is going to navigate the murky waters of politics ahead, because there's a lot that waits Rigathi Gachagua.